Good evening. Hello, hello. It has been months since I have recorded. Um, to be honest, I actually was going to record about a month ago. Um, I saw the horrible, abysmal, disgraceful, and disrespectful the Netflix retelling of Persuasion by Jane Austen. Persuasion is actually one of my favorite Jane Austen books, and it's my favorite movie as well, specifically Persuasion 2007, starring ooh. The chick from The Shape of Water, okay. And the guy who played Captain Wentworth was played by the guy from one of my favorite movies, Cold Comfort Farm. No one has ever heard of that film except me and my mom and like one of her coworkers. Anytime I've ever mentioned Cold Comfort Farm to anybody, they've been like, "What the fuck is that? I've never heard of that." I'm like, "Oh, it's a British movie, one of those dry British comedy movies that was set in like the 20s." Oh gosh, I'm getting off topic. I was going to record a review of that, my reaction to it, because it was really bad. It was starring Dakota Johnson from Fifty Shades of Grey fame. Um, I wasn't going to hold 50 Shades of Grey against her. I swear to you, I was not. I was not planning on holding 50 Shades of Grey against Dakota Johnson because a lot of people have said that Dakota Johnson's performance in the 50 Shades of Grey franchise is one of the saving graces of the film because she's just sarcastic enough when she's delivering her lines to make it seem like she knows that what she's saying is bullshit. But anyways, I wasn't gonna hold that against her. I I was like, okay, I'm not gonna hold the fact that I've seen your boobs and I've seen you naked while you're doing this Regency era film set during the times of Jane Austen. I will not hold that against you that I've seen all of you naked. Okay? Let's see what you can do. And I don't want to hold Persuasion against her either. I'm sure she's a great actress. A lot of people, oh, she's a good actress. I mean, I haven't seen her in anything except 50 Shades of Grey. And Beastly, if anyone remembers Beastly, that modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast, starring Vanessa Hudgens from years ago. But she was only in that for like a hot second. I can't really use that as some sort of determinator for whether or not she's a good actress or not. So I don't know. But Persuasion 2022, Netflix, what the fuck? You know, I've sat down here. I have a lot of stuff to share, okay? Because I've been gone a minute. I've been gone for a minute now. I'm back with the jump off. Stop it. Sorry. whenever I say the phrase "I've been gone for a minute," I have to say, "And now I'm back with the jump off." I'm sorry. I'm too nerdy to say that, and I'm so sorry. My point. I know that I had not recorded in a very long time, and I have a lot of reasons why. I haven't just been sitting around with my thumb up my ass. I swear to God, there's shit going on in my life. There is some serious shit going on in my life. I don't think I've uploaded anything to here since April? Yeah. So, and here it is, August. Forgive me, please do. But a bitch been going through some stuff. I'm sorry, but I did not sit down here to start roasting Persuasion 2022, even though that literally, pardon my cats in the background. Those two over there, that's the fluffy-tailed one, that's fantastic. Wait, no. Oh. Yeah, I'm right. The fluffy-tailed one that just glared at me from over there, that was fantastic. And the one in the window he was trying to fight is his twin brother, Boquito. They're litter mates, hence why I call them twins. So, I guess they just feel like boxing each other today. I don't know. Cats, you know, what you gonna do, right? Oh, that one right there, by the way, that's one of our newest additions. His name is Sunny. Hi, Sunny. Say hi, Sunny. Sunny Bunny. His full name's Midnight Sun, because of his black coloring with the little bits of white to his face, his chest, and his paws, uh, like the sun beginning to come up over the horizon after dark night. So, yeah, his name is Midnight Sun, but I'm not going to call him that, so it's Sunny for short. And you can't see him because my backpack's in the way, but yeah, let's see. Yeah. Don't you dare run, Sunny. Yeah. Here. That there is Sheba in the corner, sleeping. Hi, Sheba. Sheba. Okay, everybody is being noisy today. I don't know what is happening. Is it a full moon tonight? I don't care if it's only werewolves that have full moons. Okay, I feel like all animals, equal opportunity, wear something or other when the moon comes out. Moon causes some foolishness. Okay. Anywho, sorry. All I'm trying to say is that I wanted to come on here and talk about other things that's been going on in my life. And yet I've spent 6 minutes sitting here just talking about nothing. Well, mostly roasting Persuasion 2022. But let me try to get myself back on track, reel myself back in. Okay. First and foremost, hello everybody. It is wonderful to see you all again. I'm not picking my nose. I just have an itchy spot. It's wonderful to see you all again and to sit here in front of the camera and record. When I say a lot's been going on in my life, I truly 100% mean that a lot has been going on in my life. I have been going through it. First and foremost, I know a lot of you know that in January we lost our cat Tony. That was really my husband's favorite cat out of all of our pets. He was taking it pretty rough. I was taking it better, I thought. But, you know, the grief hits you out of nowhere, you know? It really does. We really love our pets. And we really love our pets. We love them a lot. As you can see from the surplus of cat trees and whatnot that we have around, we love them dearly. And losing one of them, it's like losing a member of our family. We really, really miss Tony. As active as you see Fantastic is, Tony was about 10 times more active than that. And he was loud. I introduced him to you guys literally the day before he passed away. He had been in the background of other videos, but I don't think I'd formally introduced him or any of our pets. I keep saying I'm going to do like a formal introduction of each of our pets. And I really want to, but that necessitates collaring them in order to do it. The only time they seem to sit still more or less long enough for me to even have them anywhere in frame is if they're in the background and they think I'm not paying them any attention. The minute I start trying to go grab one in order to pick them up in front of a camera, all of a sudden they're shy or they're mad, and then I gotta fight them. So, I'll try at some point. Maybe I can do like YouTube shorts appear to be a thing. Maybe I can do a YouTube short or something for each pet. I can try. You know, gotta use my phone for something, I guess, right? So we've been grieving the loss of Tony. There's a lot of other things that have been going on. My cat Marble, who is still alive, and I want to say, well, I want to say she's well. Her health isn't the best right now. She's doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, but she is 17 years old. She's 16, about to be 17, I think. And she is my beautiful tortoiseshell cat with lovely mint green eyes. I probably could go get her and bring her on camera. She sits still long enough for me to at least get her. I got half of mine to go get her now, but She's napping, and I don't want to bother her. She's been losing weight a lot, though. She's quite thin now. She still eats. She still has an appetite and stuff, but she's wobbly on her feet, and she's just so thin. It really worries me. Because, pets don't live as long as us humans. And, I treasure the time I have with each and every single one of them. And so whenever any of them is anything but disgustingly healthy, I'm immediately worried. So, anyways, right now she seems to be doing okay, but she's got arthritis as well as some kidney disease going on. So she's on medicine essentially for the rest of her life, as well as has to be on a specific type of diet. She doesn't really like that food, so I'm not, unfortunately I do have to mix it with a little bit of Meow Mix or what's the fancy feast, just a little bit of something to at least get her to tempt her into eating it. She's like, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like, I don't know, this don't taste that good. I don't think I want to eat it. And because she's so thin, I desperately want her to eat. I need her to eat. Okay? So that's what's going on with her. Let's see. Well, I guess the biggest thing that's been going on with me is, it's kind of a strange thing, kind of strange to say it on here so casually, but I'm pregnant, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm not kidding. It's true. I don't think I've come off as the sort of person to joke about that. I hope I don't. But yeah, I'm pregnant. I am. How far along am I? They do that. Ever since I entered the pregnancy community, I keep running across people who have kept such perfect track of exactly how far along they are. Like, I mean, it goes past, like, this is my due date. They're like, I conceived on this date. This is my conception date. And I'm exactly 8 weeks, 2 days, 12 hours, and 3 minutes along or something like that. Okay, maybe not down to the hours and the minutes, but to the day. Yeah, they'll be like, I'm 8 weeks and 5 days, or I'm 20 weeks and 3 days, or I'm 36 weeks and 6 days. And it's like, what are you guys doing? I don't understand the need for the exact date. If that's the case, just say how many days you are, how many days along you are then. If you're going to be counting days like that, say I'm 120 days along or something. It's ridiculous to me that people are that exact about how far along they are. Me, I'm struggling to keep up with exactly which week I'm at, okay? I love that doctors seem to be able to just sort of, oh, okay, well, your last menstruation cycle is this day, so that means you're dead. I'm like, okay, I don't know how y'all do the math, but okay, cool beans. But so far as I know, of what the doctors tell me, I am 14 weeks pregnant, probably 15 weeks pregnant, because I don't know. I'm either 14 or 15 weeks pregnant, okay? And the reason I'm confused is because I have two OBGYNs. I have my main OBGYN, and then I have a specialist OBGYN. And my main OBGYN, every time I go to see her, she's like, she always seems to be 1 week further along than I thought I was. Like the last time I went to go see her, I think I was like 12 or 13 weeks along. I thought I was. And she was like, no, you're 14 weeks along. You're 14 weeks and 3 days or something like that. I'm like, where are we getting these days from? Okay, what? Tell me how so I can compute. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say I'm between 14 and 15 weeks pregnant. Okay, let's just leave it at that. All right, it's one of the two. I'll find out one way or another, won't I? Anyway, let me stop. That's not. But the specialist keeps up. She goes with my estimation. So when I went to the specialist and I was like, I'm 14 weeks, she's like, okay, sounds good. And I'm like, all right, good. So, but yeah, there is some funny. It's not funny. some stuff that's been going on with this pregnancy. This baby has been putting me through it. Okay. This baby was trying to break my spirit the first few weeks that I'm carrying. This baby has been trying their best to give me hell. All right. And I'm saying this knowing the baby can hear me. Okay, that's fine. I know you can hear me. I'm pretty sure he or she has eyes by this point. I mean, not eyes, but ears. Okay. Listen, child. Okay. You listen to me, you little punk. All right. I love you dearly, but you've been fucking with me. You've been fucking with me. I'm not joking. There's look in my face. I'm serious. This child has been fucking with me. All right. Let's see. What the fuck? First and foremost, all right. I know they were like, oh, the implantation can be painful and whatnot. I thought I was having cramps. I thought that I was about to go on my cycle. All this other sort of stuff towards the beginning. And I'm like, where's the cycle? I got these cramps that could cripple a hippo. Okay, that could cripple an elephant. And I already get really bad cramps as it is. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell? My poor husband had to almost had to drag me to the bed at one point. Not for that, but because I'm like hanging out with him in the living room, and all of a sudden I'm doubled over, like, and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh, is it that time of the month?" And I'm like, "I guess, because what else could it be?" And I would have it, and then I'm sitting here thinking, well, I better let me go get my let me go get my heating pad and all this other sort of stuff. And then the next morning I wake up, I feel fine, and there's nothing in the toilet. I'm like, all right. Then like 3 or 4 days later, I get hit with the cramps again. Insanely painful cramps. I had fibroids years ago that I had removed. And the only reason I even knew I had fibroids in the beginning was because I was having such horrifically painful cramps whenever it's getting close to that time of the month. And I've always had painful cramps. It's genetic. I've always had extremely painful cramps. Okay, just bad. When I was a teenager, I used to vomit. That's how painful the shit was. It was bad. I'd have to stay home from school and stuff. I'd be missing work and stuff back when it was just that bad. As I got older, it seemed like it eased up a touch. But then around 2017, beginning of 2018, all of a sudden, I'm getting these horrifically bad cramps again. And at first, I didn't even know that it was cramps. I thought, maybe I got appendicitis. Is my appendix about to burst? I finally went to urgent care. And they're like, they asked me, where does it hurt? And I pointed, and the lady nurse told me, you're pointing at your uterus. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. She's like, let's go get you scheduled for x-rays and stuff. I'm like, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. And then they called me 2-3 days later talking about something. You got tumors in your uterus. I'm like, what the hell? And the way she said it too, she knew the way she said it could be panicking, could cause panic in folks. I'm thinking, I have tumors in my uterus. Oh my God, I have cancer. I go rushing off. I was at work when she called me. I go rushing off to my supervisor's office, crying my heart out, not giving a fuck that he's a dude. Okay, I'm like, oh my God, I've got tumors in my uterus. And I could tell he didn't know what the fuck to do with me. He's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Awkward pats on the back. It'll be fine. Pray. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Pray. And then here come my manager, who's above the supervisor, come running because his wife, unfortunately, I sure hope she's okay, because he doesn't work with us anymore. He come running over later that same day, and he's crying, which surprised me because we weren't that close. But it's because his wife was suffering with ovarian cancer at the time. It was either ovarian cancer or uterine cancer. I'm not 100% sure which one. It was one of the two. I hope it wasn't both. And he came running to find me, and he gave me a hug, and tears just streaming down his face. And he's like, I heard of what happened. I heard that you got tumors. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Why did it have to happen? And he's just going through it and whatnot, because I done triggered him because of his wife and whatnot. I feel so bad Because once again, we weren't that close. So it's like, oh, your boss comes running and he's crying because something's wrong. Which, I mean, I'm a good employee, but I'm kind of cold at work. So I knew that that was because of what he was personally going through. But I appreciated the encouragement and, and the genuine support that he gave me and whatnot. I hope his wife is okay. I need to check in. That was 4 years ago. I need to check and see if she's all right because he has long since transferred away. I think he's moved out of the state and everything. Is out of sight, out of mind. I feel bad saying so. Once again, I'm not. We weren't close. So, uh, so my point being, I ended up having the once I finally found out what the technical term was. They're not just tumors in your uterus. They're called fibroids. Okay, they're called fibroids, fibroid tumors to be exact. And most of the time they're benign. They're just a pain in the ass or pain in the uterus, whatever you want to call it. And they're just a bitch, okay? But I had to get mine removed because you can get them removed. You can also just leave them alone and eventually they'll shrink once you hit menopause. I'm in my 30s, so menopause shouldn't be that far away, I guess. Um, but I had to get them removed because I was hoping that one day I'd be able to have a child naturally. And my OBGYN told me that if I left left the fibroids alone, there was a possibility that it could cause a complication in a future pregnancy. Like pressing up against the umbilical cord and clamping it or something, or, and whatnot. And that if I wanted to have a healthy pregnancy and have a better chance of having a healthy pregnancy, I should get them removed. Also that fibroid tumors can cause issues with infertility. So, and so then my husband and I had to make the choice, like, well, do we want children at this point? Are we ready to start trying for kids? Because it seems like this is the only time I really have, because OBGYN straight told me, like, you have a 2-year window, I think she said. A 2-year window after you get the fibroids removed and your uterus is healed. You've got about 2 years before they start growing back, because they usually grow back. So, what's it gonna be? So I was like, oh, well, let's get them removed. So had them removed. And then 4 years passed and nothing had happened. I was beginning to think, well, I guess it's just going to be us and our pets. And I was beginning to make peace with that. I was sad about it, not going to lie, thinking that I probably wasn't going to be able to have a baby, but at least not one naturally, from my own womb. And I was slowly but surely beginning to make my peace with the fact that I probably wasn't going to have any children of my own, like physically my own. And I was like, well, it is what it is. So to be honest, like we had some discussions about it and whatnot. And we're like, well, once again, it is what it is at this point. Let's just live our lives and plan for vacations and other stuff. And yeah. So, but then surprise, surprise, in May, well, really June, I guess. June, once I realized, once again, bringing this full circle, I started to worry that my fibroids were coming back because of the intense cramps I was having, but still no cycle, no actual, red going on. I was like, God, please don't let this be my fibroids. Please, God, don't let this be my fibroids coming back. I don't, oh my gosh, please, God, no. And then I actually Googled. They say you shouldn't Google your health symptoms, but I'm glad I did here. They say, oh, you're going to scare yourself if you Google anything wrong with you. Say you got a headache, Google's going to tell you you have cancer. Say you got a stomach ache, Google's going to tell you that you got diabetes. All this stuff, right? So I Googled my symptoms and I was like, oh, if you're getting bad menstrual cramps, but no cycle, Is it a sign that fibroids have come back or fibroids are returning? I specifically put that in. And ironically enough, the first thing that popped up was not a direct answer to that question, which would have been either yes or no or some Reddit article. I seem to always get Reddit articles when it comes to asking questions on Google about my health. No, the first thing that popped up was symptoms of early pregnancy or early symptoms of pregnancy. And I was like, huh? What? I looked it up. I was looking at my phone. I was like, where does this come from? This don't make no sense at all. You know you're pregnant when your period don't come. And I was like, my period ain't come. But I ain't never heard about cramps in pregnancy unless it means something's up with the child. So I was like, I don't know. So I clicked on it. WebMD, the real MVP. I was like, oh, yep. That horrific, terrifyingly intense cramping that one can feel is usually from the implantation of the embryo, the fertilized egg, into the wall of the uterus. And it can take place between time of conception all the way up to like 6 to 8 weeks. I think they even said up to 12 weeks or something, depending on which article I went to. So, there's mayoclinic.org, and then there's WebMD, and then there's NHS, NHC.IHS or something, whatever, all these medical study places. And so I looked it all up. I went to several websites because I'm not just going to look at one. And I went to several pages of Google because I know a lot of people don't like to look past the first page. I'm like, really? And I started thinking back, have I actually missed my cycle? This is a big deal. Have I actually missed my cycle? Because I assumed, erroneously, it turns out, that because I was cramping, that meant that I was about to start within the next day or two. Each time it happened, and it ended up happening about 3 or 4 times over the course of like a week, right? But nothing happened. And I thought back and I realized that each of the times that I experienced the cramps, I was nowhere near close to starting my cycle at the time. This is like a week or two before. So then I stood and looked at my calendar in my kitchen. And I always put on the calendar when I think it's going to start, because I'm kind of irregular. Usually starts within 3 or 4 days of that mark. And I'm like, based on my calculations and when I went on last month, it's going to start either here, or here. So this date here is the very latest day that I could start based on my irregularity in the past. So it was time to play the waiting game. So as days went by, I felt I got more and more tense as the day that I'm supposed to go on gets closer and closer. The day comes, and the day leaves. The next day comes, the next day leaves. Finally, I get to the very last day that I probably would I would probably start my cycle based on my irregular past calculations. And that day came and also went, and nothing. So I told myself before I'd actually gotten to that date, I went to CVS and I bought like 6 boxes of pregnancy tests, and I got like 3 different types. I got early response, I got the digital type, and I got like one that's got something on there. I forget what the third one was, but I got digital and I got early response, and I bought like 6, so like 3 of each, 2 of each. And so the final day left without any cycle. My next day off, I went to CVS and bought those. I remember the cashier, when she was ringing me up, she's like, you want to be sure, huh? And I'm like, yes. Been waiting 4 years for this. And she's like, oh, well, tell me. if do come and tell me. I'd love to know if it's a yes or a no, but I'm sure it's your time. 4 years sounds like God has finally smiled on you. I'm sure you are. I'm like, I hope so. And I felt like crying. I don't like crying. I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not the sort to cry in public. If I do, something big is going on. So I went home and I told myself I'm gonna pace myself. Bitch, you gonna pace yourself. One pregnancy test every day until they're all gone. Okay? And it's gonna be first thing in the morning, because the first time you pee in the very morning, that's when your pee has the most pregnancy hormone in it. Your pregnancy is going to be pregnancy hormone in any of the pee that you have that day if you really are pregnant. But the first morning pee is actually the one where there's the most. So it's like the most accurate, right? I peed every single day on them little sticks. And every single day, it said I was pregnant. Let's see here. I bet you think I'm lying. I'm not. I kept them. So, that's one. Let's see here. That's two. All right. Let's see here. That is three. That is four. This is five. All right. And let's see here. And that's six. All right. I wasn't lying. A bitch is pregnant. So, yeah, I kept the pregnancy test. I'm weird. All right. You try it for 4 years and see if you'd be like, well, I guess that's everything. Let me throw these in the trash. Shoot. No. It's just a visual reminder to myself of that the feeling I had. Need some hand sanitizer. After all, I did pee on those, didn't I? Just a visual reminder of that excitement that I felt when I peed on the very first stick on day one and got that response. But I told myself I would go through all my tests. All right. And I did. And I was going to go through all of those tests before I told my husband. So I did not want to go to him with just one. Okay. Because you know how some people can be like, oh, the first, that could have just been a fluke, something like that, right? No, I did not want to do it that way. I wanted to show him absolute proof that yes, my love, we're about to have a human child. We have all these fur babies, and now we're about to have a human baby. All right. So I actually waited for him to get home, and I had the tests in this container, in this lunchbox here that I have. I had the tests in that, and he had noticed that I'm really bad at keeping secrets. I'm horrifically bad at keeping secrets. And he had been noticing that I had essentially been twitching for days. That something was up. So he came home from work, and I was waiting for him at the door with that lunchbox. Granted, I don't use that for lunch anymore, so don't worry. Oh my God, why are you keeping stuff you peed on in a lunchbox? I don't use that for lunch anymore. It's a storage container. And he came home, and he's like, what's in the box? Is it snacks? I'm like, no. I set the box in front of him, and then I just stood there and waited for him to open it. And I don't know what my expression was, because he's opening up the box. I know he was probably expecting to see, like, I don't know, Reese's Pieces or something in there. He loves sweets. And so he opens the box and he lifts the lid, and then he just stares at it, and he's like, oh. And then he just has no expression for like a full minute, just staring into the box. Just expressionless. And I'm like, oh, I hope he's not mad. And like I said, we've gotten kind of used to the idea of us not having any human kids at this point. We really had given up, I think. So this came a little bit out of left field for us. So I know when he looked up, I don't know what my expression was. Maybe it's something. If I listen, let me try to remember how I felt. It's probably like that. Like that? I don't know. And he's like, oh my God. He has this big smile on his face. And I'm like, okay. He's not mad. I don't know why I thought he'd be mad. Like I said, it's probably because we had just sort of given up. And that wasn't even our mindset anymore. We were like, well, let's put that to the side. It's time to move on to other stuff in our lives. No use crying over something that's probably not going to happen. 4 years is a very long time to try to hear that, to get this news, right? A lot of people would have given up after only one. Let's be real. So, and that was how he found out. I was really glad. My best friend was like, you should have taped him. You should record him doing it. I'm like, it was just too much of an experience at that point for me to do something like that. That was like the furthest thing from my mind. I just want to make sure that it was something that he was okay with, that we're in this together, and that he's happy about it, because we were talking about going on a cruise next year and, whatnot. There's a wrestling themed cruise. I told y'all about the wrestling themed cruise that we went on last October, that I was seasick for, and that I didn't get a chance to enjoy anything except the food in the mess hall, because I was just completely seasick. We were planning on going on another one of those next year. We were just trying to figure out whether or not we wanted to do a down payment. And it's a good thing we didn't. So, and I was also planning to go visit my friend. She lives in Portugal, my best friend. And I'd already paid for my ticket to that. So we were planning on doing some traveling within the next six months or so. And the wrestling cruise that we were planning to go on is happening in like the first week of February of 2023. And as it turns out, I'm probably going to be due like around January 30th. So the cruise is out, unfortunately. It's a strong bitch, I think, that could give birth to a child and then immediately jump on a boat within a week and head off on a vacation. I'm sure it can be done. I've never heard of anybody doing that. If someone has done it, congratulations, you're insane. But kudos to you for being able to do that. Okay, I don't know anybody who's done it. I can't even think of any celebrities who have. The biggest thing I can think of is when Kate Middleton, when she gave birth to her first child. I don't remember if she's done it for the second one or the third one. She's had three children, I think. And Kate Middleton, is married to Prince William in England. When she was up, like, I think within a day or two after giving birth to her first child, George, and she was standing outside holding him in her arms, and everybody's out there like, oh, look at the baby. And everybody else was like, bitch, what are you doing up? You just shoved him out of you. To my knowledge, you didn't have a C-section. And even if you did, that's surgery. What are you doing up? Why are you standing around outside in a dress and heels after giving birth to a human? Literally like less than a day or two ago. Why are you up? Who is this for? What are you doing? Everybody else is like, oh, the baby's cute. And I'm sitting there like, wouldn't be me. I don't think I'd get out of bed at all for the first week or so. If I did, it's just to pee, walk across the room to the bathroom, and come back and lay back down again. Bring my child to me. Bring my child to me. Who is here to help me? I'm in the hospital. Bring my child to me. I am not getting up and leaving this room if I'm in the hospital. And if I'm home, Mama, please bring me my baby. My love, bring me our baby. Okay. Somebody bring me my baby because I'm not getting up. I'm sorry. Shoot. So, anyways, but yeah, finding all that out about being pregnant, that was kind of crazy. But then this little punk here had the nerve to make me incredibly sick. Now, I know a lot of y'all just sitting here like, oh, bitches, morning sickness. Everybody get morning sickness who's pregnant. Shut the fuck up. No. Okay. This is not me exaggerating. Okay. I had, what's the name of that daggone? What's the name of that daggone thing? I've been pronouncing it wrong to almost every single person. Let's see. Let's look it up and pronounce it correctly. Okay. Okay. This child here, this punk here that's in my womb, had the nerve to make me so sick that for almost a week, might have been longer than a week, almost a week, I could not eat or drink anything. All right? I'm talking no water. I'm talking no pudding or jello. I'm not talking crackers, ginger ale. I can't have ginger ale anyway because I have acid reflux, and I can't have carbonated beverages. Okay. This little punk had me with the name of this thing is called hyperemesis gravidarum. Okay. Now, if y'all don't know what the fuck that is, because I sure as fuck didn't. Okay. It is a severe type of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. Rarely, morning sickness is so severe that it's classified as hyperemesis gravidarum. This is rare. Fewer than 200,000 cases in the U.S. per year. It requires medical diagnosis, lab tests, and imaging are required. Medium term usually resolves within months. Thank you, Mayo Clinic. Okay? Look at here. This was bad. Okay, symptoms include severe nausea and feeling faint or dizzy while standing. It can also cause persistent vomiting, which can lead to dehydration. Okay, the main risk to women with hyperemesis gravidarum are dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, and weight loss. Women with prolonged hyperemesis gravidarum are at a greater risk for preterm labor and preeclampsia. Okay, and this is according to everydayhealth.com. So, it's not good. It's not good. Google glosses over a lot of stuff there, okay? When I tell you I couldn't get out of my bed, when I tell you I could not sit up in bed without immediately reaching for the trash can, I'm talking about just raising my head from the pillow and rising to a seated position from laying down. When I tell you I could not walk from my bedroom to the bathroom without having to vomit and paint my walls in the hallway with vomit. Okay. When I tell you I could barely drive and that my husband had to drive so carefully, gingerly in his car to take me to doctor's appointments because I literally was going to vomit in the car. And every single pothole had my stomach feeling like it was about to pop out of my stomach. My stomach's about to pop out of my stomach. Stomach's about to pop out of my body. All right. I was insanely ill. I really kind of thought I was going to die. I'm not going to lie. Everybody kept telling me crackers, ginger ale, ginger tea, ginger peppermints, or ginger heart candies. First of all, how am I going to go to the store and get me these ginger candies? My husband don't know what to look for. I love him dearly. He doesn't know what to look for. I barely know what to look for. People just tell me go to the store and get them. Which store? Target, CVS, which aisle? Do we have time to be standing around poring over the aisles looking for this stuff when I'm about to blow chunks out of my mouth? I could barely even go into stores. I could barely get in the car to get to the stores. I don't even think I'd have been able to drive one of the motorized carts. That's how bad it was. I'm not exaggerating. If my husband was here, he'd be standing here nodding his head like, yep, it was even worse than that. It got so bad, okay, when I realized that I had not been able to eat anything and that I was so weak from vomiting all the time and not being able to put anything into my system and keep it down. When I realized, I tried the crackers, y'all. I tried the crackers. My mom had told me about crackers in the past. I had a big, huge box of crackers that I was keeping next to my bedside. Okay, I had water. I had ginger tea. My husband was brewing for me. I brewed one for myself once when I felt strong enough to do it. One thing I didn't have were the candies, which my best friend, God bless her, sent me candies from Portugal. She paid, well, she didn't buy them in Portugal and send them. She went on Amazon and bought me some and had some special delivered to me. God bless her, and I love her dearly for it. Okay. But yeah, I eventually did get the ginger candies. I didn't get them until after I'd started to feel better. But I think after about the 5th or 6th day of realizing that I really had not eaten anything and that I really was my health was starting to decline and decline fast. Because even I know, hey, if you don't drink water and you're not getting no water or hydration, how the fuck your baby gonna get it? Absorb it from the sunshine? You know? I said, we gotta go. I called urgent care. I called patient first, urgent care. Call first, because I wasn't about to waste my gas driving up there, and then they have long ass lines like they did the last time I was ill. I called them, told the nurse on duty what was going on. She said, that's a medical emergency because your child is not able to have any nutrients, anything right now. If you're not able to keep anything down, your child hasn't eaten in if you haven't eaten or drunk in 5 or 6 days, your baby has not eaten in 5 or 6 days. You need to get to the hospital ASAP. That's a medical emergency. So I hung up from her, told my husband, guess what? You're calling out today because we got to go to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room. That's a video for another day, to be completely and utterly honest with you, because that emergency room was so trash. But long story short, from there, they put me on an IV. They took some blood. I should say they tried to take some blood. They eventually did get some blood for me, but it took way too many tries and some concerning shit in order for them to get it. Because once again, I hadn't had anything to drink, let alone water, in like 5 days. That's not true. I drank stuff, but then it would immediately come right back up. So it's like I hadn't drunk anything at all for at least 5 days. I think I was on day 6 or 7 at this point. And so almost a week without anything in my system. And I had dropped weight because I'm a plump girl. Okay, I've been trying to get under 200 pounds for the last couple of years, and sometimes I succeed, and other times I hadn't. And so when they told me that I was like 202 pounds or something, this had been me before I got pregnant, I'd have been like, hooray! I've lost like 7 pounds. Awesome! But I'm pregnant, and I'm like, oh shit, I lost 7 pounds. And I'd weighed myself fairly recently, before right around the time I got pregnant. I think I'd weighed myself, and I'd heard that some people, oh, you lose weight when you get pregnant, and I was like, but you're not supposed to. I think I had weighed myself maybe a week or so before, and so I had lost essentially, like 7 pounds in a week. That is horrifically bad when you're pregnant. I think you shouldn't be losing more than 2 pounds a week if you're pregnant. I'd lost 7 pounds in a week. So I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. Now, I've always been anemic. I have tiny little dainty veins, and it's always a struggle whenever it's time for me to get blood taken. It's always a struggle. I've learned to tell people to get it from the back of my hand, but the nurse couldn't even find it in the back of either of my hands. Not that she didn't try. These hands were pin cushions. Let's try it here. Boop. Nope. Let's try it here. Boop. Nope. How about here? Boop. Nope. Because they were trying to get an IV in me. At one point, the nurse put it in my hand. This hand. She put it in the back of here, and she's like, I think this will work. And so then she starts to flush the vein or whatever so she can get the IV going. The back of my hand swelled up. Oh my God. She's like, oh, no. She yanked the needle out. And the back of my hand was all swollen. I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? My hand was like this. What you do to my She's like, well, that's not going to work. You sure I can't use your arm? I said, ma'am, if you can't find it in my hand, I guarantee you you're not going to be able to find it in my arm. I'm sorry. Okay. She's like, She's like, well, turn your wrist over. And she's like, let's put it in here. I'm like, here? I have never in my entire life, my 35 years on this earth, had anybody ever put a needle in here before. Okay? Never. But that's the only way she could do it. And that's because my bitch ass is light skin, and she could actually see the vein and whatever here. That's why she decided to go for there, because she could actually see it. I'm like, wow, this is dumb. This is so stupid. This is so incompetent. There's other shit going on, but I'm not, like I said, that's a video for another day. So I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to remember, was it this hand or this hand? It's this hand. I'm so sorry. It was this hand. So I had a daggone IV in this hand, in this wrist, taped on. But because of where it was, in the precarious position, the easily bumped position it was in, she looped the cord from the IV through my fingers, and I had to sit there like this. Okay. Now, of course, an IV flush doesn't happen. You don't get an IV drip and then, okay, well, I feel great after 15 minutes. That's not how that shit works. You got to sit there for hours. So for hours, my dominant hand is like this. Okay. With the thing threaded through. I'm not able to turn my hand over like that, because then the IV is on the bottom. I could put my hand on the armrest. I asked for a blanket after about an hour because I was cold. Hospitals are notorious for being cold and drafty, and this one was no exception. And I asked for a blanket an hour in, and I didn't get the blanket until maybe 45 minutes before we decided to leave. That's so stupid. Because I was cold as hell. I was cold. Freezing cold. My husband was sitting there cold, because he was sitting in there with me. Cold, cold, cold. I'm sitting there freezing. It could also be because I was anemic. I'm sitting there freezing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold. And I can't do anything with my hands, so I'm doing this. And because this is my dominant hand, and I need to work on trying to become ambidextrous like my mama. My mom is ambidextrous. And I need to be trying to be like her. Because now I'm like, well, let's just try to use... And then they're like, oh, you can't have the electronics in the garage, and you can't have electronics in the hospital. It can interfere with the equipment and whatnot. My husband couldn't watch his videos because there's people right next door in the room next to us. I say room, everything was divided by curtains. But people right next to us, so he couldn't. Neither of us had brought our headphones, so we had to play stuff on low, so I could barely hear, and he could barely hear his. And then stuff he watches has a lot of cussing. I cuss a lot. I know I'm one to talk, but I'm like, oh, don't cuss around Pete. Don't have the video with all that obscenity playing so loud. Might offend the nurses. Fuck them nurses. I say that now. At the time, I was like, please don't play that so loud. So he could barely hear his thing, and I could barely hear mine. I was still so nauseous that I couldn't even fall asleep, which is true. I had been struggling with sleep as well, because once again, if sitting up caused me to get nauseous, turning over would cause me to get nauseous too. I was just a wreck. After sitting in the hospital for 4 hours, I'm not kidding, 4 hours with that IV and not feeling any better. And this is with them coming and putting some Zofran in it as well, which is supposed to be anti-nausea medication. I just did not feel any better. I didn't feel any better. I told AG, I said, look, let's go. So he went and got the nurse's attention, brought her ass in. Once again, she had only brought us the blanket like maybe 45 minutes before then. We'd been there for almost 4 hours at that point. It's a long ass time to be sitting in that cold, cold hospital. I could have gotten sick, ironically enough. And so she take forever to bring the doctor so the doctor can discharge me. And the doctor leaves. She's like, okay, I'll go get the paperwork. And then the nurse brings the paperwork. And I'm like, is there a doctor's note in there? Okay, for both of us. I think both of us needed it at that point. And she's like, "Oh, you should have asked the doctor that." I'm like, "Well, can you go get it for me, please? Appreciate it." We didn't know that we had to ask the doctor. We thought she was coming back. We thought she was coming back with the paperwork. See? Anyway, so she's clucking her tongue. Once again, I said it's a video for another day about that hospital. Anyway, get the stuff out. We head home. Um, I'm by the time AG bring the car around, I did feel a little bit better, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna risk it. Give me some Panera. So we stop at Panera, and I think he gets me chicken and wild rice or something because he didn't think I should have broccoli cheddar. He thought it was too heavy, and I eat that. Uh, I'm actually sleep. I was sleeping out at one point or other. I think I'd moved out to this cot in the living room, so I'd be just a little closer to the living to the bathroom and stuff in case I needed to vomit. So I'm out on the cot eating my chicken and rice in the living room, and it don't stay down either. I'd gotten too excited too fast. But hey, you spend 7 days almost without eating. You get desperate. And you're like, I hope I can keep this down. Nah, it persisted for a few more days until I finally got a chance to go see my OBGYN. You were like, why the fuck didn't you go to see her earlier? It's because I had an appointment. And my appointment was actually for the day after, the very next day after I went to the emergency room. But obviously, but then I went to the emergency room on a Sunday, and my appointment was for Monday morning. So I just could not wait. I was told that it was a medical emergency, and that was why I went immediately, and then just wait till the next day to go see my doctor. But I went to see my doctor the next day. She also diagnosed me with hyperemesis gravidarum, and she gave me the good shit, the good anti-nausea medicine, promethazine. That's some hard-hitting shit. I didn't get it filled though for almost 2 days following that because of CVS and them having some pharmacy tech who claimed he couldn't read the doctor's handwriting. Fuck out of here with this bullshit. I finally told my husband after we kept getting the same damn pharmacy tech each time we went back. I think dude must have been working doubles. Same damn pharmacy tech. I said take it to a different CVS, and he did. And that pharmacy tech had no problem whatsoever reading the damn prescription. So I had been without my prescription that I could have had filled same day after I left the doctor's office. I had to wait 2 days. 2 days of hell. I swear to you, when you're sick like that and you're not able to keep food down and you're weak and feeling just absolutely ill, it messes with your mind. It does. It messes with your mind. Because according to the research I'd done, some women who have to be like hospitalized with hyperemesis gravidarum, if it gets to that point where they actually have to stay in the hospital for several days, like some of them women get so beaten down by the illness that they terminate their pregnancy because they just can't take it anymore. That's how bad it can get for you. That it really does something. Being ill really does something to your mind, especially when you're used to being fighting fit. My baggage handler, I'm fighting fit. My body is my job, or at least being able, have a physical job. And I'd had to keep calling out sick for all of this and stuff because I just couldn't go. I could barely lift myself up, let alone a bag. So it does something to your mind. I was telling my husband, I said, I just feel so bad. I don't know if I could take this anymore. He's like, whoa. And I'm like, I just feel so bad. I just felt that sick. I really did. I don't know if I can keep going on like this. If it's going to be 9 months of this, because the length of hyperemesis gravidarum fluctuates based on the person. It varies. Some women it only lasts a few weeks, and for other women it lasts the duration of your pregnancy. It depends on the woman. And I was just worried that it was going to end up being 9 months of that, and I just was like, I don't know. It's awful. Thankfully, once I got that promethazine in my system, you had to take it every 4 hours. And I was setting my clock. I was setting my clock every 4 hours, taking it. And within a day, I started to feel like myself again. And within a couple days, I could actually eat and it stay down. And within like a week and a half, I was able to actually eat quite a bit. Not a whole lot, but I could at least keep down more than a cup of yogurt, you know? So, in a protein shake. And so, even now, to be completely and utterly honest, my appetite still isn't fully back. And I'm like I said, 14 or 15 weeks along. Even now, my appetite is not fully back. So I'm eating, I think, half of or 3/5 of what I would normally eat. So it's just how it is. Anyway, and this baby once again has been putting me through it, because when I was about the hyperemesis gravidarum happened when I was about 6 weeks along, 5 or 6 weeks along, and then I think I was like between 6 and 8 weeks. I can't remember the exact. I think I was 8 weeks along when I had some bleeding that happened that scared the shit out of me. Okay, I was super panicked. Ended up having to rush back to that same damn hospital's ER. I'm not going to name the hospital once again. Video for another day. They handled this about as well as they handled the hyperemesis gravidarum, but whatever. The bottom line was, baby was still there. They did an ultrasound. Daggone doctor had nerve to act like I was wasting her time, talking about who told you to come to the ER. I said my doctor told me to come to the ER, because I called the doctor's office to tell them I was bleeding, and my OBGYN, and she said go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and that was why I was there. So when the daggone doctor had nerve to come, be like, who told you to come to the hospital? Like, my OBGYN told me to come. Really? When did you call her? I said, I called her maybe 20 minutes before I came as soon as I saw that I was bleeding, I called. And I called again when I was at the hospital, just to let them know that I was there. And they told me keep them posted on what was going on. And I had a doctor's appointment set up for the very next business day, which I did. And she's like, oh, well, she told you to come, then you did the right thing. I mean, if a pregnant woman's bleeding, okay, because here's the thing, I'm 35. And so that means that this pregnancy is a geriatric pregnancy. I know, right? I'm an old lady. But yeah, anything over the age of 34 or 35, if you're pregnant, is considered a geriatric pregnancy, which automatically means this is high risk. So a high risk pregnancy, you see any blood at all, okay? I'm talking about even just a little spotting. You're gonna be like, oh, I don't like that. This wasn't spotting. This was not spotting. This looked serious enough for me to feel panic, real panic. All right, and I was about 8 weeks in at the time, so I was very worried that I'd lost my child. So yeah, it was insane. I went to the doctor the next business day, and I had gone out of town with my parents. I didn't fly, but I'd gone out of town with my parents very briefly, and we'd gone up to the mountains because my parents and I love the mountains, and I just wanted to spend some time up in the fresh air and the clarity of the mountains. I really wanted that. Just needed to get away somewhere where I could just exist and just be. Okay. Anyways, it turns out altitude's not good for pregnancy. Even though I hadn't really gone that far up. Shenandoah Mountains aren't Mount Everest. Okay. It's just the mountains, right? And so apparently when the doctor was asking me, like, what did you do? What have you been up to? What was outside your normal routine? I was like, well, I went to the mountains with my parents. And then AG, my husband, he's like, is it possible the mountains, going up to the mountains could have done it? And the doctor says, that could be it. Yes, altitude is not good. We don't recommend women, pregnant women, go to any high altitudes. One of the reasons why we prefer pregnant women don't fly when they're pregnant. Unless their actual doctor has cleared it first, but I definitely don't recommend it for you. It's possible the altitude could have had something to do with it. So definitely don't fly. And if I were you, I would stay away from the mountains. I'm like, okay. So I know my best friend was sad to hear that. She had been hoping I still could come visit her in Portugal before the baby came, but this put the kibosh on that, unfortunately. So luckily I was able to get a full refund back due to some weird ass loophole. I'm not going to go into that. I was able to get a full refund, and I'll just have to go see her after the baby's born. But yeah, trying to think. I had a little bit more spotting from time to time after that, but nowhere near as extreme as it had been that day. And now everything seems to have kind of stabilized a little bit, a touch, I guess. So, and here I am. So this has been a long ass video. Good Lord, an hour and 6 minutes. I'm really gonna have to edit this down. I don't even know if I can. I try hard not to have my videos that I upload on Facebook, on YouTube. I try hard for them not to be longer than 40 minutes. And even then 40 minutes, I know not a lot of people are willing to sit and listen to my voice for more than 10, 15 minutes. Okay. I love my husband dearly, but sometimes when I'm talking to him earnestly about something, I can see his eyes rolling up into his head. It's not good for my ego. But I mean, it is what it is, right? For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, sickness and in health, and with a monotonous voice that could put you to sleep. Same thing, I guess. That or he's just really used to me. Some people tell me I have a good way of telling stories, and other people who've known me for a long time, heck, I've even seen my own parents' eyes roll up in the back of their heads when I'm talking to them sometimes. So maybe it's just once you get to know me, my voice becomes monotonous. That's so not good for the ego. But with that, I'm going to end it here because, like I said, I already got a long ass way to edit this thing down. If I want it less than 40 minutes, I'm going to have to chop off at least a half hour of this. So we're going to see what happens, right? All right. So in the meantime, that's my story. That's what's going on with me. I'll keep you posted. This isn't about to become a family channel or anything. Just letting y'all know. This is what's been going on with me these last almost 4 months. Is it 4 months? It'll be 4 months once I get to 16 weeks. So yeah, almost 4 months. All right, so peace.